Hello, I'm Mike Lind. I'm a graduate student here at SFSU studying microbiology. And the title of my thesis, I'm looking at it, is Sonoma County's, which is in California, Russian River helps to create and spread antibiotic resistance. So before we get into the specifics of that, let's focus on antibiotic resistance. What does that actually mean? Well, antibiotic resistance refers to the antibiotics your doctor is going to give you whenever you have a bacterial infection, maybe through ingesting E. coli or salmonella, or if you have a cut and that gets infected, they're going to treat it with antibiotics, maybe an ointment, pills. But as the years have gone on, your doctor is having a problem because the bacteria is becoming resistant to the antibiotics, hence antibiotic resistance. So in the lab, you have your technician here, they're growing bacteria, let's say E. coli, on these two plates. Maybe year one right here, these tabs with the antibiotics will kill the bacteria. This is how they're testing it. But maybe the next year, that same bacteria will not be killed off by those antibiotic tabs. So it's showing you the antibiotic resistance, the transformation that happens, and then you can't be cured from your bacterial infection. It's a problem. So usually how this occurs is people, when they get prescribed antibiotics, they just don't take them the whole prescription. They just take a little bit, they get cured, but little do they know that they still have some bacteria in them that actually becomes resistant and doesn't die off. So that is what is commonly known right now. And also in meat, like in cattle industry, the cattle will be fed antibiotics and they'll create antibiotic resistant bacteria. We see that in a lot of meats nowadays. But then I'm thinking that this isn't the full story. This isn't how antibiotic resistance is only happening. So about 2 years ago in New Zealand, they did a study on herbicides, and particularly herbicide called glyphosate herbicides, which is one of the most common herbicides in America too. So whenever bacteria is exposed to those herbicides, they're also becoming antibiotic resistant. So what I wanted to look at is just a model ecosystem in California to test out this theory, and I decided to use the Russian River in California. This is it right here. And all along this river, there's tons of vineyards, breweries, different places with cattle, and all those herbicides that they spray on the plants are being, just through the natural water cycle, being run off into the river. And in the river, there's just tons of bacteria that's going to be exposed to those herbicides, potentially transforming them to become, causing them to become antibiotic resistant. And I expect to see this. And if this is the case, when people go to the Russian River and they swim in it, or the animals are swimming in the water, they're going to have this exposure explosion, where it's going to have this amplification effect where maybe you get in your towel and you're going to bring it to your house. It's just going to spread, and you're just going to spread it to other people. Animals are going to spread it around. You have all these antibiotic resistant bacteria that are going to be amplified throughout the communities, and it's going to cause a problem for the medical field. So what I'm thinking is that there's a conflict between the agriculture industry and the medical industry, to where they're creating this antibiotic resistant problem, but they're causing it to be worse. So I think there needs to be a solution. I'm going to find that there needs to be a solution to where the agriculture industry or the medical field needs to change what they use to deal with these different bacterial infections. So that's all I have. Thank you.